Bam, 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 bam. I can feel you forgetting me after this intro.
True North Reviews, True North Reviews, True North Reviews.
Hey there, welcome to True North Reviews. My name is Ryan, and today we are discussing I Can Feel You Forgetting Me by Neon Trees. This is the fourth studio album from the American pop rock group Neon Trees. When I think back to before their rise in popularity, it's certainly weird to remember that they were discovered from opening for The Killers. Of course, Neon Trees are all about anthemic pop rock, and that suits going on tour with a band like The Killers in the 2000s, but Neon Trees, they inevitably rose to fame early in the next decade, coming off the infectious Animal and Everybody Talks, which are two very addictive alt-pop anthems. It's been a long time coming since then. Haven't really been curious to listen to any music of theirs since those singles, and part of me was thinking I was missing out on something, so I had to check out this latest record from Neon Trees to see what they were up to. Were they sounding any different? Were they sounding the same? Well, coming into this new record, from what I could tell, they were matching the same level of charisma and grandiosity with a very exciting lead single, Used to Like, which, for pun's sake, I still like. Why, you might ask? Well, it's because of the balance between the electro beat, the slick guitar with a super catchy melody in there too. The entire song is basically a chorus. And from what little things I know about Neon Trees, this is one of their strengths, writing catchy songs. It's something that a lot of modern pop songwriters actually struggle doing. At least from my experience, I hear pop songwriters doing one of two things. They either waste their time scratching the surface with something that has potential to be catchy but flops, or they just pick the quickest and easiest, usually most annoying melodic idea that the listener has no choice but to remember it for good or bad. Neon Trees, they avoid that for at least a handful of tracks on this record, channeling their former selves, or at least what I would consider their former selves, what made them popular in the first place with Everybody Talks. Either that, or I'm just being nostalgic while listening to the song Nights. As this track is playing into the band's wheelhouse for a grand and explosive chorus ready to fill an arena. On it, we have an electronic tinge on some of the bass and drums. Keep in mind, I first listened to this album immediately after hearing Taylor Swift's Folklore, so maybe this was the jolt of energy I needed to, get me going again. But it's still a great track, and no knock on Taylor, I did like that album too. Moving on from there, I find myself jamming along to the track Holy Ghost, which is very uplifting, very cheerful. The chorus has got me thinking that it's not veering too far from the Walk Off the Earth formula and how they write and perform. One of the last favorite tracks I want to touch on is Everything Is Killing Me. This cut has stone cold synthesizers that are like an adrenaline shot to the veins. Tyler Glenn's vocal leads are also very powerful. They hit me like Headley have just met their American counterparts for synth pop and pop rock. Unfortunately though, the more I listen to this Neon Trees record, the glaring issues start to appear. To me, it sounds like Neon Trees kept writing the same song with less conviction or out of sheer laziness. Skeleton Boy begins with a rigid and robotic intro and underwritten verse as well, something that I've grown tired of hearing at this point of the record. It might just be a minor speed bump, but it's the chunky synth bass that also bothers me. The chorus is like Louis Tomlinson has decided to do an homage to Walls and come on this record and write some synth pop. Elsewhere, Neon Trees might have better luck writing catchier ideas, especially on the bridge of Going Through Something. I would just like to know what that something is instead of broadly mentioning this girl and how you're not currently talking to her. The summer's nearly over. It's the beginning of every cliched summer story I've ever heard. Moving on to the song Mess Me Up, and I think we already caught a glimpse of Neon Trees padding runtime on Going Through Something, but it's like Mess Me Up, its sole purpose on this record is meant to be forgettable and underwritten. With a generic intro, Mess Me Up has nowhere to build from its lifeless verses. Anybody's guess could be as as good as mine for what the chorus is or isn't on the track because it is so nondescript and non-existent. That said, I guess I am happy that Mess Me Up has a bit of a hidden chorus because it's certainly better than the obvious and annoying refrain on Living Single. It's like Neon Trees wanted me to eat my words and say that they fell into the trap of writing an annoying chorus. And that's especially the case when they wrote When the Night Is Over. By this point of the album, I kind of wish it was over because the synth bass is pretty boring and we're just running through the motions with a formulaic song. A basic woo-hoo chorus is in there, that millennial whoop. I want to know who wrote that because that's just like the epitome of phoning it in and wanting something to be played on the radio. Yeah, so a good portion of time on I Can Feel You Forgetting Me, Neon Trees, they fixate on the gloss and ironically forget how to have fun and have a catchy chorus. If you like the Group Love record from earlier this year, you'll most likely enjoy this one to an extent too. For the most part, it's like this mixed bag with mixed results and a pretty fine and decent overall sound. A lot of potential and catchy ideas are on here, but with no songs rivaling their greatest work, I think we could all agree Everybody Talks and Animal, those kinds of songs that everyone would recognize. This is still a decent album, a handful of highlights and a few painfully mediocre at best moments. So with all that being said, I'm feeling a 6 out of 10 on this new Neon Trees record. Make sure you guys sound off down below in the comments. Tell me what you guys think of this music, whether you agree, disagree. I'm here to engage with you guys. If you'd like to leave a like, subscribe if you're new in town, I'd appreciate that. As always, thanks for watching and have a rockin' day.